we are more than happy to welcome into our studio a good friend and a great leader and an even greater person, Nina Turner. Thank you for joining us, my friend.
Hi, thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you guys.
How are you? How are you? How's candidate life? That's the question. How is candidate life?
Is there any way to take your mind off of what's been going on the last 24 hours? That's the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the harder part is dealing with what happened yesterday. But I guess there's no but to that. It's just to me a revelation about the deep-seated racism and anti-Blackness that permeates this country, that we have a duty, a moral obligation and a duty to do something about. It's been lingering for a long time. It's just that we have the current president that stokes it. He puts gasoline on a fire that has been burning for generations. And so dealing with President Trump is one thing, dealing with the deep-seated racism and anti-Blackness and the other isms that go along with anti-Blackness and racism, whether it's sexism, ageism, you know, all of that negativity, what has happened to our Native or Indigenous sisters and brothers, all of those things go hand in hand. And we are going to have to reckon with them as a nation, one way or the other, post-President Donald J. Trump.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would have definitely loved to have seen more people on that presidential stage with an idea of a Black agenda or reparations. I mean, Marianne Williamson, I think, was the only person that had. I know that was one of the. I know that's why it was like special to me. He endorsed me. It was really cool. And I think that that's something that we absolutely need to be talking about more. And maybe this can be a catalyst for that. Like maybe this can do that.
I hope so, Jen. The thing is that, you know, the difference between overt and covert. What we saw yesterday was overt. So people are stunned and clutching pearls. The Black community has been saying this for generations, for a very long time, about this moment. So my biggest concern is that as this fades away, people are going to try to go back to normal. There should never be going back to normal. Normal does not work, whether we're dealing with racism, sexism, the environment, pay, none of it. We cannot go back to normal.
It's lack of justice. It's just lack of justice across the board. And it just, obviously we see it more so in our Black community. But it's just lack of justice and complete just elitism and corporatism, and just the people on the bottom get screwed.
All the time. Yeah.
Do you want to ask about the first thing? About
no, very important, Nina. You know, a lot of times people are, you know, they're quizzical about what actually went on behind closed doors with the vote for Pelosi the other day and whether you're actually getting something out of it. I thought that, you know, we're obviously tremendous fans, as you are, of Cori Bush, and she was one of the only people who was very forthcoming about the fact that, yeah, I'm going to be getting some financial help from my city that desperately needs it, and that's worth my support. Can you talk about what it's been like running to represent Cleveland in Ohio's 11th district, and what are some of the things that you're primarily focused on, should you be fortunate enough to represent the district in the next few months?
Yeah, well, you know, this will definitely be an extension of my public service to my community thus far. I was a Cleveland City Councilwoman. I served in the Ohio Senate. Half of the 11th congressional district was in my Senate district. I was a Democratic nominee for Secretary of State in 2014, running against one of the worst secretaries of states in the entire country. I left that election and then went to serve as the chair of party engagement at the Ohio Democratic Party. So my history runs deep. Daughter of the city of Cleveland, daughter of this district, and my love for it runs deep. Economics, jobs, #1 priority. How to provide some type of restoration to both individuals and also small businesses. The poor, the working poor, and the barely middle class in this country are suffering. And they've been suffering for a long time, but under the weight of a global pandemic, we can leave no doubt that the fixtures, any illusion or delusion, because some people delusional, but any illusion that the system was working. Any
broken, we know it's fixed.
Say again, Jen?
I said people think it's broken and we know that it's fixed.
It's working exactly as it's intended to work.
Right. Yeah. By design. So and I understand where you guys are coming from, but just as the system was designed to work the way that it does to the disadvantage of the poor, the working poor, and the barely middle class, we on purpose can create a new design. And that is what I am going to Congress to do.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about all this stuff with the hashtag fraud squad and a lot of the crap that the people are getting because they're not doing exactly what people think they should be doing, who have no idea what even goes on behind closed doors. But this concept of we're not going to really be able to get anywhere within the party. And I know you're running as a Democrat. I ran as a Democrat. I have no choice here. Like there is no, that is the option. But I do understand people's defeatism, and what it appears to be is that once people get in, they sort of cruise to the middle. And if not necessarily in what they say, but in kind of what they do. And we need to reinvigorate people. We need to get people to understand that this can be done like by people like you.
We also need people to understand, because you're absolutely right. And I love how you guys were opening up saying, we don't know what kind of concessions. And when I say concession, I'm not talking about concession for the individual.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
There are lanes here, and I need people to understand it. They might not necessarily like it, but I need them to understand everything is not always what it seems. Now, sometimes it is. And I get the righteous indignation. You know, when Bernie Kratz and other progressives were in pain in 2016, I was one of the few people to acknowledge that. Like, we're not going to just roll over that and pretend like what happened in 2016 was normal and was okay. It was not normal. It was not okay. So let's pause for a minute and accept the anger and the disappointment and the other emotions, the maelstrom of emotions that people were feeling. See, I didn't dismiss that. So I got that. 2020, there's some similar feelings that we can talk about what happened in that primary. But let's do that maybe on another show. But this is the thing. I need folks not to just out of hand start dismissing folks, because you don't absolutely know what is going on. And especially people who just got there, only been there like 5 minutes, one term. Give people enough space to be able to go in there and maneuver, not sell out. Everything is not, everybody ain't selling out. Now, there will become a period of time where you will be able to just outright judge whether or not this person totally sold out, or the body snatchers and got them. And so there's the difference between what they said on the trail and actually what they are willing to do. I've served in a body before. And I do, and on our side, the progressive side, the people who are humanitarians, because that's what I am. I'm a hell-raising humanitarian.
Yes, you are.
I am a Democrat, but I'm a hell-raising humanitarian. But this is the thing. Their activists have a role, which is we need an inside-outside game.
Exactly.
That is the role of activists, to hold every elected official accountable, whether you like us or not. See, we can't fall so in love with politicians that we don't hold them accountable. But to just dismiss somebody and create a hashtag, the fraud squad, no, not just that quick already. No, because the very people that we are going to need to be the catalyst for this progressive change that we need, sometimes people need shoring up a little bit. And that's why we need the grassroots out there, saying, we not relenting, we not moving, this is our red line. And then that gives some encouragement, and also courage sometimes is needed, depending on what the issue is, for the progressives and anybody else on the inside, and say, hey, this is what my people are saying, this is what they need, and you know what? I'm going with my people. But everybody, give people enough time. Not I ain't talking about 10 years, and I do understand also that there are some issues. People are dying, literally, and we understand this. People are dying. And so some of these issues, we ain't got no time. I mean, I get the fierce urgency now, as the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, but I just want us to not totally throw away people who we know, for all intents and purposes, 99% of the time, they are going to be right on those issues, and they're going to stand up and fight. Don't throw them away just like that.
Yeah, I feel like that. I mean, obviously, it's more productive to work with people, and especially when you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And really, if somebody is on your team, then you know that because they're not taking corporate money, and so they're working for their constituents. That's what matters.
That is, and you know what else? The great leadership guru, his name is Stephen Covey, and I encourage people to read his books. There's a quote by him. He says, "Seek first to understand, and then to be understood." And some of this is about getting understanding, and also what is your role? and people understanding their role and everybody playing their role so that we can get to ultimately where we need to go. Now, some things we need to happen more immediately. Like for me, it is a non-starter to say that it's going to take us 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years to have Medicare for all. You know why? Because people are dying. I've met those people both in my district and all across this country. People who have paid into the system. Some people who've never had good health insurance altogether. People who were solidly middle class. They get one illness, cancer, or something of that magnitude, and it takes them out. It is unacceptable that in this hegemon nation, the wealthiest nation on the face of God's green earth, that other of our industrialized sisters and brothers can have some type of universal health care, and we don't. But we're exceptional. We are exceptionally wrong on that. So there's some things: clean water, clean food, clean air. We can't tell people wait 2 years, wait 3 years, wait 5 years until we can get you a guarantee of clean water, clean food, clean air. So there's some things that, no, we don't have time. On climate chaos, we don't have time. There are other things that everything is not what they see. It seems. So seek first to understand and then to be understood. Now, one other point I want to make on this point is that no two people are always going to agree. Are you guys with me? I mean, I'm married and I don't agree with my husband all the time. God knows. But I don't just throw him away just because we didn't agree in that moment. Or my son. You know what I mean? Come on. We got to give each other a little more grace than we have given each other. Come on, let's do this in 2021. Let's give each other just a little more grace than usual.
So when is your election? What day is your election?
Oh my goodness. So it's a special election. There's technically not a vacancy yet. In my state, the governor gets to set the dates. On the Secretary of State's website, it's looking like it's going to be May the 4th. That may change. So if we're going with that date for now, so that means your sister has five good months. You May babies? You May babies?
May the 4th be with you, Nina.
May the 4th be with you.
Oh, wow. So, well, I mean, May 4th is always a big deal among Star Wars people anyway, but now it's even a bigger deal. So, what do you want to talk? I mean,
Nina, obviously, I think the force the vote idea was a good idea, if not ill-timed and not well executed. But what I do think is important right now, and I'm sure you would agree, is the Democratic Party now controls all 3 elected bodies of government, the presidency, the House, and the Senate. And I believe that now is when the pressure really needs to be put on. People are desperate, whether it's emergency UBI or survival checks, or even, dare I say, universal health care. What are your thoughts about what would be the right way to go about putting pressure on now that there isn't this perceived GOP stopgap from us doing anything?
They cannot.
No more excuses. We've got to be able to forge ahead. And I do believe this call, even though it's not for Pelosi's speaker vote, because the voting is so close, I would like to think that there is a lot of leverage for the progressive squad now to really start to use their power in a positive way where, like we said, there isn't this GOP gap in the way. And I do think that Biden has a degree of a mandate considering everything that's been going on.
Oh my God, I totally agree with that. I see Elizabeth Baker right there saying, ladies from my home state. I got to give my home state, Elizabeth Baker, give her a shout out. Yes, I am and the reason why I am smiling about this, because I see this as opportunity. This is an opportunity for the Democratic Party to show whose side, baby, they really on. This is it. We can do this thing. We can deliver some relief for the poor, the working poor, and the barely middle class, the 140 million people in this nation who are either low income or 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 paychecks away from being totally decimated in this economy. Come on, Dem. This is the opportunity. And you're right. No more excuses, baby. We got it. So hopefully we'll have it for 4 years. If we only got it for 2, let's do all that we can to lift the masses of suffering people in this country in that 2-year timetable. Baby, we need to push policy like our lives depend on it, because somebody's life does depend on having health care. Somebody's life does depend on driving down the wages of pharmaceuticals, of prescription drugs. Somebody's life does depend on whether or not, hell, a whole bunch of people's lives depend on putting forth a Green New Deal, not just in this country, but leveraging our positioning in the world to bring world leaders to bear, because we can't deal with climate chaos just as the United States of America, baby. That is a family affair, but we can put people back to work and transform this nation and this world at the same time. So, oh yeah, Democrats, we need to get at it like our lives depended on it. And what I say to the grassroots is hold every single one of us accountable. The people giveth, and baby, the people can take away. Hello, somebody on that.
See, I think that that's exactly what you were saying before about you have to be doing it inside and outside simultaneously. So at the point when all those people are on the inside is when the people on the outside need to be pushing as well. Like it needs to be happening at the same time.
And you can still like us and you can still love us. I know everybody doesn't love me, but I know I got a lot of people who do love me and respect me for what I bring to the table. But there may be some moments on some issue or something that happened and you say, oh my God, Turner didn't react the way I wanted her to do, or she didn't do it the way I wanted. Does that mean you throw me away? No. Because I and others like me are the biggest allies and resources that you have. Now, you ask the question about how the progressives can leverage the progressives, the squad, the Black Caucus. I mean, it's my vision. I want y'all to follow me. That we, the Black Caucus and the Progressive Caucus, baby, teaming up. Woo, woo, baby, move mountains on behalf of the people. There are opportunities.
Not happy with the Black Caucus endorsing Elliot Engel over Jamal Bowman this past election. Like that not
you know what? No, that wasn't cool. But guess what? 2021, brother Bowman, he in there. We got an opportunity to do some things together. Don't we? I mean, we're gonna take every opportunity where we can to do something together. And the reason why I named those two, because you got the progressives. Progressives are really standing up for humanity, period. We need to own that. That doesn't make us perfect. But how in the hell are you going to argue against, even though some people do, against canceling student debt, against criminal justice reform, against a Green New Deal, against Medicare for all? Now, you can go on that lane if you want to and talk all that smack or yin yang, the technical term, but you're wrong. So even if the neoliberals and Republicans, whoever, don't agree with us, the issues that we are standing in the ready position for are the issues that move people from survival to thriving. So I'm going to put that right there. Now, we need folks to have a transformation. Maybe they didn't see things that way in 2020. Maybe they didn't see things our way in 2019. But you can't tell me in the face of a global pandemic, if folks don't see what's happening to people and how people are losing either their lives or their livelihood, then something is wrong with them. And somebody got to be there to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And can I say this? I will work with anybody. If the 11th Congressional District blesses me to serve them, I want them to know this. Yes, my hair is on fire against injustice all the time. And I don't mince words with it. So sometimes my tone might not be the way people like. I think it was the First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt who wrote Well-Behaved Women. I think that was her quote. Somebody check me on that.
And
somebody check me on that. Well-behaved women, rarely.
And you
written about
and you did an amazing job doing a podcast with Governor Kasich. And I understand that there are people who don't necessarily, you were like, oh, Kasich is anti this and anti that. I'm like, it's not about that. It's like Jen going on Tim Pool's podcast. There are so many potential people out there that just need to hear the message. They just need to hear it. You know what? That makes a lot of sense. Why is there for-profit middlemen in between me and my doctor? That doesn't make sense. They don't need to be there. No. So
my brother, able to hear, you saying that, you doing that. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Right? I mean, that's the problem is so many of the Democrats get so offended when you dare talk to others outside of their echo chamber.
So
it's to me, to just talk in your echo chamber doesn't do anything.
And that's a great segue, because one of the things that we did want to ask you about is the proposal of this whole inside-outside strategy. You have the people that, like us, especially down here in South Florida, recognize that you have to fight within the Democratic Party. It's the best option. What do you say to those that believe that the People's Party, for example, is the future? And how do we build that bridge to understand that regardless of what path you're taking, as long as we're fighting on the same front lines for the issues that matter most, that is what matters.
So where are you on the People's Party?
Yeah, you just said it. That's it. I have had conversations with the People's Party. Nick knows that. I have been very encouraged by what him and other activist leaders in that organization have been able to do, people like Dr. Cornel West, Marianne Williams, others, people that I admire so much, have an open heart to that type of movement. See, the Democratic Party has another opportunity to be the People's Party, right? A grand opportunity to be the People's Party. But if our party is not willing to do that, you have forces out there that are saying, you know what? We're going to push from another angle. And that's okay too. See, I'm not the type of Democrat that says, this is a democracy. People have freedoms and people should have freedom to organize as they see fit. And what the People's Party is pushing for is not the antithesis of what the Democratic Party should be pushing for. See, so we can coexist here. This is not an either or, it's an and. That's how I see it. And I applaud them for the work that they're doing. You're not going to get me. It's the same thing. Green Party, libertarians, all of them. Why would we do that in a representative democracy to try to crush people because they don't see things our way? Isn't that what we claim the other side does? Come on. Yeah. I'm like Brother Malcolm X. When Brother Malcolm X said, I'm for what's right, no matter who it's for or who it's against. That's how your sister rolls. That's how I roll. No, I'm sorry. That's it. No, I'm not sorry. That's it. So we're not going to crush people.
I just think this is one of the key reasons we're so supportive of ranked choice voting. And what's interesting is I was just watching this TED talk from this woman. It was brilliant, where it was about, you have to do the jungle primary in conjunction with ranked choice and the general. And when you do those two together, you get like the perfect representative outcome. Like, it's the, statistically speaking, the best representative outcome. And I think ranked choice voting, we need to all be pushing for that, because that would definitely open it up.
It really would.
And as you know, with the mayoral race in New York, you have a couple of candidates there, in particular, Andrew Yang and Diana Morales, who, because of ranked choice voting, could actually be working in conjunction with one another and not be adversarial, because both bring great ideas to the table. And that's how you build this, that's how you build this movement even stronger. And
I'm going to say something.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, can I ask you something? It has nothing to do with what you said. Do I see my name behind you too?
What?
Do I see my name behind you too? Yes.
I have a chalkboard, and technically you're our change maker of the week, although really you're very elevated beyond that title. I didn't even put that up there, but yes.
Credit to Jen for this wonderful wall that she's put up behind you.
This is a lot of this
is good, Marcia.
Art business. Well, this has been with me since law school. That was hanging on my wall in my law firm jobs that I had.
I know you're up against it time-wise. We've only got a few minutes left, so I want to ask you a very important question.
Oh, my God.
I think as I try to remind people all the time, Bernie is the person who lit the flame, and now it's on us to carry the torch.
We the fire, baby.
We are the fire. And because of the fact that Bernie was able to go through so much over the past 5 years, we are in a completely different situation than we were back in 2009 when Obama took over. You now have a growing movement on many populist fronts, including elected representatives who are now willing to fight for the issues that really matter. Medicare for all is now in the regular vernacular that we talk about every day, but somebody has to be the heir apparent to Bernie's movement. I know a lot of people have different ideas about who that is.
No pressure, but we think it's you.
But we do believe it is you. And
no pressure or anything. And don't worry. I mean,
from the moment that you and I met in Philly back in 2016 to everything that I've seen unfold ever since, you are you're as inspiring and as great a human as anybody I've ever seen in politics, and that's saying a lot. Sure. Because I've met quite a few people. And
unbought, unbossed.
100%. So what would you see going forward? Because one of the things that I don't think gets talked about enough is that Bernie really built an amazing movement of people, potentially millions, that really are looking for that direction forward. And are you comfortable?
They're like the Israelites wandering in the desert for 40 years.
And are you comfortable with the prospect of leading that movement going forward, wherever that road may take us?
Well, we are that. And yes, I am. I've been doing my part. For me, I'm a servant leader. And so that having people like you both and others who see me in that light means a lot to me. I am wise enough to know that no one person can do it alone. And so it does take a movement of us. And if I am one of those bright lights, I am honored to be so. I really learned so much on the campaign trail both times. Senator Sanders, you are absolutely right. He was the spark and we are the fire. And when he says not me, not me, us, he really does mean that. And it has been one of the high honors of my career thus far to be with him both times, but especially in 2020 to be one of the national co-chairs with so many resilient and people power lifting other co-chairs that I have to just give a shout out, if I may, to my brother, Congressman Ro Khanna, who's in there doing the daggone thing, to Mayor Carmen Yulín Cruz, oh my God, San Juan, Puerto Rico, and then to our brother, the Minister of Ice Cream himself, just Ben Cohen. And before I go, and I know I have to go, I just want to say to the progressive base and to our movement that we are still young, and we are mighty. We have so much more to learn. We have many more miles to go, and we are going to get there. We have to be more agile, right? We got to be more organized. There are lots of us out there. There are lots of organizations out there, but our strength is in coming together. Even if it's like 3 major issues that we just lock arms and say to ourselves, there's no daylight between us on these issues while everybody keeps their autonomy. But in order to prevent what happened to us in 2020 from happening again, and what I mean by that, the coalescing of the moderate neoliberal wing to come and crush the progressive candidate, we have to learn those lessons and learn them fast and get out there. And for my brother, Michael Render, Killer Mike, he said these words, and I hope I got them in order, but I think you guys know where I'm going. We got to plot, plan, strategize, organize, and mobilize. That is what our movement must do. And we have to do it without ceasing, because it never stops. Something that, and I know I got to go. Jesus, oh my Lord.
No, you got to go. Give us your website, because I know what it's like to need your
oh my God. It is NinaTurner.com. Please go there. Follow me on Twitter, Nina Turner. Nina Turner. Forget my Twitter, but Nina Turner Twitter, and I'm Nina Turner Ohio on Instagram. But I want people to, Rosario Dawson in 2016, when we were on the campaign trail together, I forget where we were, but we were talking to a group of people and people were discouraged. And she said these words. And so this is her quote. So if anybody uses it, please don't give me credit for it. She said, I am here to encourage your courage. And that's what our movement, I want us to know, that people like me, we are here to encourage your courage. The great Rosario Dawson said that, and I think that is profound. Another thing I want to leave with you is that when we're wondering why it seems like we're hitting brick walls and nothing is changing, change is happening. It's happening. It's happening. And for everything that we put our hands to, we are the change, as Brother Mahatma Gandhi. We got to be the change we want to see in the world. But one of my favorite ministers from my hometown said these words to me in 2016 when I was feeling very discouraged about why it seems as though things were not necessarily changing. And he said, Senator, the struggle is forever. So we are forever in the struggle. So 2 things, Here to Encourage Your Courage by Sister Rosario Dawson, and then Pastor Otis Moss Jr., the struggle is forever. So we are forever in the struggle. And our job is to advance justice for ourselves and the next generation and pass that baton. And then their job is to advance justice for themselves and then pass the baton, and so on and so on and so on. It never, ever ends, baby. It never ends. And then my last point, I told y'all oh my God, my people gonna kill me. Can I just say this?
You can say as long as you want. I mean, we're not asking you to go.
You brought up unbought and unbossed. And so I just got to affirm here for folks who don't understand what kind of Democrat I am, because my detractors are going to say I'm not a traditional Democrat. Well, you're right. Right, you're right. I'm not.
You're a Shirley Chisholm Democrat.
There you go. You got me, baby. I am an unbought Democrat. I am a Fannie Lou Hamer calling out the status quo in the 1960s of the Democratic Party, so much so that her and her white colleagues, poor folks, got together to create the Freedom Party. I'm that kind of Democrat. I am a FDR, I welcome your hatred because I'm going to stand up and use the people's power on their behalf kind of Democrat. That's the kind of Democrat I am. So add any kind of freedom trailblazing person in there. That's the kind of Democrat I am.
For anybody
so folks
out
want
there,
to know what kind of Democrat I am.
Yeah, I think we know who you are. Everybody, so check out Nina's website. For sure, donate, get on, do phone banking, whatever you guys can do. And Hello Somebody is her podcast. And I know that because I am a subscriber to Hello Somebody podcast.
You two got to do a podcast.
I'd love to come on your podcast, obviously.
We should do that. Yeah, let's do it. It's a date. I will definitely, let me write that down. Where's my Hello Somebody? I got it right here.
We will, as the obviously, as we hope the vaccinations continue and it becomes safer to go out, we will do everything in our capacity. We had a lot of campaign volunteers from Jen's campaign that actually went up to Iowa for Bernie. We will absolutely send people to Cleveland to lend you a hand as well, and of course we'll host phone banks, anything that we could do to get you in there. You know, like I said, for anybody who's feeling discouraged right now, just listen to Nina Turner and everything will be okay.
Oh, I love you both so much. Dawson, I love you. I got Dawson saying Dawson loves me. Dawson.
I can't keep up with them. You quite
Jennifer, love you too. Yeah, we got lots of work to do, but we are equipped to do that great work. So I love you both. Thank you so much for having me on the show. This was so much fun. Oh my God.
Thank you so much,
Deep Space Hippie, donate monthly from Florida. Thank you, Deep Space Hippie. Love y'all.
Whatever you're doing. Thanks, Nina.
We love you, my friend. Great to see you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.